of Naboo was, I think, what I would say, the third most important decision of my life. Because Naboo gave me a platform to do what God had been teaching me all along since 1988. It gave me a platform to help other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Run away from poverty.
Yes. to families to avoid this trap of poverty. And that is the best thing. So for me, that's where now my personal purpose and the purpose of the organization
connected.
Converged. So these are things that God was just orchestrating all along since 1988. That was what was coming.
It was, so everything before was your 30 years.
It was, yes.
It was your 30 years.
It was my 40 years.
Jesus analogy. You know
yeah, Jesus, yeah, my 30 years.
That's 30 years. Now your purpose.
Yes,
years.
I was in my purpose.
So let me, okay. I want to understand this. Now, I'm fortunate that I've been privileged to work with you, but I don't even think I was, woke enough to understand it the way I understand it now. And had I been, I think I would have made very many different financial decisions. You started creating products that are in line. You see, now you've given the history. So you, as Naboo Capital, you started creating products that individuals, families, trusts can all plug into to help them achieve this thing. Let's talk about some of the ones you started with and why. What pushed you in that direction?
Yeah. So one of the biggest downloads, spiritual downloads.
I like it. Downloads
was investing with purpose. I started asking myself, what do I want Naboo to be known for? Do we want to be known for having the best returns? Or do you want to be known for giving customers the best experience? You get it? And for me, it was clear. Delivering good returns is a baseline delivery. But what we really need to do is to give them an amazing experience. You can come to this destination in a tuk-tuk and somebody else can come here with a Maybach. You both arrived here, but the experience is different. You know, so for me, I became very conscious, and I believe this was just a download, because it's not like something I read. It was just a download. This is really what will differentiate us, and not for 1 year, not for 2 years, but for hundreds of years. And one component of delivering that experience, we received another download, which is now investing with purpose. Whereby, instead of Richie coming to me and telling me, Pius, how much return can you give me? We start with, where are you going? What is your purpose? What is your purpose? And say, my purpose is I want to take this kid who is in kindergarten today to an Ivy League university in London. And we start planning for it today. And we put together a portfolio today that when that time comes, you will not need to go to your pocket.
Yes.
That portfolio will take that child to Ivy League university, and when they are done, it will still be there.
Do you know, Pius, I need to interfere here because you told me this.
Yes.
I remember there's a time you told me, I can't remember the amount of figure. You even took me to see Sabis, the school. Yeah. And Sabis is it under Santa Marie? It's one of the subsidiaries of Center. Yeah, okay, it's one of the subsidiaries. In case
one of the investee companies of Center.
Yes.
Subsidiary.
Exactly. Yes, and that's an amazing school in the Runda area.
Yes.
And I remember you telling me, Richie, do you know you can pay the school fees here, However, if you give me, I can't remember the figure, this amount of a figure, let me tell you what will happen. I will take your child to school from the beginning. I think it was like class 1 or something.
If you're just a normal parent doing things the way we've always done, you're paying school fees every term. It means we calculated the figure. You'll spend about 14 million shillings from KG1 to grade 12.
Because let's say that service is high quality education,
very high quality
amazing facilities,
and it's still the second cheapest international school in Kenya. So we are not even talking about others.
Yes.
So anyway, so I asked my team, because I have 3 boys already,
yes,
who are in the school, what would it take for me to educate each one of them and say, hey, by the way, they came back like, by the way, if you have a portfolio of 8 million shilling per child, it can, the return from this portfolio can take this child from kindergarten to grade 12 without you having to ever go back to your pocket. Now remember, now compare that with 14, and then on after grade 12, you still have money remaining. Substantial money to start university.
Imagine.
Yes. So now that's what we say, investing with purpose. So what does that do? So now we start saying, you know, for Richie and his family, for you, how do we make sure, how do we ring fence you such that there is no event that will ever come that will make you live in the streets or significantly change the lifestyle that your kids are used to, or you as a family are used to. So we've got to build from the foundation. And the foundation is your basic needs. Your basic needs. So we say, hey, Richie, you normally spend about 100,000 a month for your basic needs. If you don't have your job or anything and you still have 100K,
uko sawa.
So then the question for us is, how can we create a portfolio that can give you 100,000 every month without you going to work? Once we answer that and we do that, we have finished with level 1.
Basics.
Then we go to level 2.
You want this moti, or you want to build this house?
No. We now need to do security portfolio, which we say, what are the things that can come and disrupt your lifestyle portfolio? Because that's what you are.
Yes.
It's education, it is home ownership, it is medical emergencies,
yes,
and other emergencies. So we say, okay, fine. Let's start with education. How much does Richie spend to take his kid to school, and what portfolio can we put together that Richie will never have to go back to his pocket? We sort that one out. Then we come, okay, home ownership. How much would it cost you now to build a house? Yeah? Without you eating your seed capital.
Yep.
We accumulate that, we work out on a portfolio, you finish your house with, it is blow by blow.
Oh, that's amazing. And it's tailor-made to you.
And it is tailor-made for you. So that's investing with purpose.
That is
so you see,
brilliant.
Here we are not talking about returns.
Yes.
We are talking about purpose.
Why you're not just keeping money? Why are you keeping? Here? Yes.
So I find it so difficult when people want to talk to me about just returns. I'm like, so what? I mean, you can't eat returns. Returns can't change lives.
Yes.
But you know what? You know, a client called me the other day and told me, Pius, I want to say thank you. I said, why? He said, because my son was going back to school in the US, and all I needed to do was to send an email to Naboo. And within 24 hours,
yes,
we had money in the bank, and off he goes, and it was never an emergency because you gave me an education investment plan which has worked to the T.
Man.
You know, I told her, you know what? It's the best thing that I've had, because that is exactly my purpose.
Mm.
To help you feel that way, to free you from that burden. And guess what? Now she doesn't have to worry. And she was saying before she would have to take some money here from salary,
Last minute,
and then put the money together. And then we have such many stories, so many stories. Guys were like, wow. As we've seen people who said, hey, you know what? I used to invest in properties, I used to invest in land, but now I ask myself, what is the purpose of buying this thing? And we come back to, okay, this thing is a nice asset, but it's not for me now. You know? So we have testimonials upon testimonials.
And from first and foremost, you're being modest, so I'm going to say it because I've worked. Even from a returns perspective,
yes,
your money market returns,
yes,
have been dominating in terms of returns. You've been the best for a long time.
Yeah,
nobody has been able to match up to your returns. And these are published. This is public information.
Yeah, and that's why you hear me. What do I want us to be known for? The tuk-tuk brought you here. It did its purpose. The Maybach brought you here. It did its purpose, which is to move you from point A to point B.
Exactly.
For me, as long as you're investing, delivering good returns is a basic delivery.
I get what you mean.
You get it?
Yeah.
But what is more important is where we impact our clients emotionally.
You have fulfilled a goal that they've been trying to attain to.
Yes.
Okay, let me, on this goal perspective, again,
yes,
I'm trying to educate myself and educate the public in the process.
Yes.
Do you have plans that can be done for, do you have a time period that is not, for example, if I say I want to do this, I come to you in January, and I say, in December, I want to take my kids to Stato. Is there time, am I able to, let's talk,
These are all variables that we'll discuss with you.
Oh, I get it.
You know, it's like, and this is what I put it. If today, me and you and I are both going to Mombasa, but you need to be, you have a meeting in 2 hours. Me, I have a meeting in 12 hours.
Hey.
Okay. Can we both enter SGR?
No way.
Because we are both going to Mombasa. Exactly. So we look at, okay, you are in a hurry, so you need to get to the plane. Me, I'm not in a hurry, get to the SGR.
Yes.
We'll both get our to our destination at the right time.
Yep.
So if you come to if you come to me and you need to fulfill a need next month, we will work with the variables, and then they say, hey, I can't get on this plane.
Yes.
Then we say, what?
The next best thing. Yes.
What's the next best thing?
Yes.
Then we work until we go, oh, now this is good for
that
us.
Is such a brilliant analogy.
Yeah.
Now let me go to another point that you taught me. This one I have to say, because of you, I took the advice.
Yeah.
You told me, Richie, why are you leaving money in a bank?
Yes.
I'll never forget this. You told me, Richie, like, the money that I have in my account is for, as soon as my salary hits my account, it's gone. My money needs to make me money. You get? It can't just sit there and do nothing for me to stay at an account and see the same amount every single day. That's some advice that you gave me, and I'd like you to speak about it from your life perspective.
Yeah. You see, there are two components to investing. There are two components to wealth creation.
Yes.
There's saving and there's investing. When you save, meaning you've isolated money from your expenses, it's clear you may have, it's what you call discretionary money. It is over and above what you spend. So that money, there are people who just like to see it in the bank. So when they see the statement, they say, hey, Nikona statement mzito, you know. But that money is earning nothing. Okay? Now
if it was 10 million in January, when you're picking it up in December, it's 10 million.
Yes. So create wealth, you need to take it and now invest it. And to invest is to demand a return on your savings.
Look at it now like an asset.
Now, make it to work for you.
Yes.
And that's why we say one of the principles of wealth creation is no idle money.
Yes, that was
no idle money. No idle money. You should never have idle money.
In fact,
it's a crime to have idle money.
Let me say that. Let me interject and say here is a clip from his YouTube channel, and on the Naboo Capital YouTube channel, there's a lot of information like this. Yes. Okay, continue.
Yes. So, and this thing is something we've learned by observing what I would call the richest 1% and the rest of the population. Why is it the richest 1% own half the wealth in the world? It's because those guys, when you go to their bank accounts, in fact, they're in borrowing status. But you go to the rest of us, we actually have money seated idle in the bank. So that money is what banks put together, and then they lend to the 1%.
Yes.
They make it work for them. So we've got to learn something from them for us to cross the floor, to join the 1%.
I don't want people to miss out on what you've said there.
Yes.
Again, I'm understanding that not my whole audience understands financial literacy. So I'm always going to interject to layman you. Yes, say that thing again about the 1%.
So the 1%, the 1% richest people in the world, they never have bank balances.
But they control
50% of the wealth in the world. And it's because all the savings which have not been invested by us is what is put together by the financial system, and they borrow from it and they make it work for them. You get it? So every shilling, every dollar is an employee.
I love it.
To work for them. Some of us work for money, but for them,
money works for them.
So here is a mindset, which I call a billionaire's mindset. You've got to think different. When I would speak to Dr. CK, if you tell him, do you have money? He say, I don't have money. And it's true, because his money is always working. But I'd call you, hey, Richie, do you have, I need some 500K. I say, don't worry, I'll do a Pesa link right now. You get it? It's so...
It's idle. There's no other better word. In fact, let me say this. I don't know whether this was legal, certified or not, but when CK passed, the newspaper published the amount of money he had, and when you looked at his bank balance, it was shocking for a billionaire. And I had a lot of people be like, alikuwa tu na hii do. And I was like, oh my God, this country, we need financial literacy, because you think his wealth is in the bank balance that was being shown. You're not aware about how much of his money has been working for him.
So wealth is not in the bank balance. Wealth is in assets. Wealth is not reflected in bank balances. It is reflected in the assets. No, let's define what's an asset. An asset is anything that puts cash in your pocket.
A liability is
what takes cash out of your pocket. So,
and a bank balance does neither.
A bank balance that you are seeing on your current account does not put money in your pocket. So, the rich folks are always about creating their asset base, because the asset base generates income, and they live off that income, and that income is what we call passive income.
Yes.
Most of us, because we don't focus on assets, we focus on bank balances. Yeah, the bank balance comes from your employer. So you work for the employer. So you live off your salary. And that's a big difference.
And that's okay. I mean, first of all, it's not okay because the older, and even with technology, your salary factors can shift and change it.
There is what you call the life cycle in investment. The human development life cycle. We say you start with credentials, and then credentials bring income. And the experience, as you accumulate experience, your income is going up until you peak. And then it starts dropping. Now, this is the thing. From the moment you get your first job or your first income, which is being paid by somebody else, you must start a winning off process. To move from salary to passive. To move from salary to passive income. Just like a baby cannot feed on milk forever. Milk is good and salary is good, is necessary. But salary is a source of your capital to build an asset base, not a source of income to pay your expenses.
Yes. Ah, man, this is nuggets. Say that again. Salary is not a source of income to pay your expenses. It's a source of capital to build up assets, which will build on passive income, which will win you off your salary. Yes. Because the passive income will be the one now which will begin to pay your expenses. Yeah. What is the number one challenge for people in retirement? Cash in the pocket. The first thing when you retire, most people retire, that really hits them, they have no liquidity. And they have assets which I call dead assets. Because their idea of buying assets was not one to put money in the pocket. It was one to say, I have a piece of land here, I have this, I have that. Cash is king. So that's why we end up, your parent can have had the best job, even a CEO in a company. But in their retirement years, they've got to depend on you. Because this idea of building an asset base that is putting cash in the pocket on a regular basis, not sometimes, was not there. So you miss your window. They never got wind off the salary. So now, which brings me to something else. What is retirement? So retirement, the conventional meaning of retirement is when you stop working at a certain age. Your active years are behind you. Then the latter, yes. My definition of retirement is very different. Retirement is when you get to do what you love to do every single day of the year. Exactly. Meaning, you can be working for Safaricom and you've been getting your salary, and you've had a discipline of investing, and you have built an asset base that is now generating more income than your salary. Even though you're still working for Safaricom, you are a retiree because you're only working because you love what you do, not because you need to pay bills. Pius, this is gold. This is gold. And let me just also add and say, because I have a young demographic that also watches this, the younger you start, the easier it is. Because if you start, and you can start young with as little as you have. Because young people think it is a proportion of, let's say they're earning 10,000. They think they have to take out 1,000. You're better off at that age when you're earning 10,000 to take out 500 than you are when you're earning 1 million and you are 10 years left of working. You have to be taking out 750,000. Explain it in your words. This is what I call pay yourself first. Why pay everybody else except yourself? This concept was very difficult for me to understand as an entrepreneur. So everybody pays taxes. So why do they find it difficult to pay themselves? Everybody pays rent.
You're paying a list of suppliers, but your name is not appearing there. Yet you're the biggest supplier because you have this asset called your body that shows up at work and does all the hard work.
Body, mind, and,
Yes.
and everything else.
You know, sweat and blood.
Yes.
Sweat and blood. But you never pay yourself. Entrepreneurs don't pay themselves. Employees don't pay themselves. They pay everybody else except themselves. So when that money you pay yourself is what we call saving and that we invest. And for me, I always say, if you pay the taxman 30%, you should pay a minimum of 30% to yourself. You should be the first supplier. Number one supplier. So it's important. And if you don't pay yourself today, I can tell you, you will struggle
tomorrow
in retirement. You will be forced to retire. And when you're forced to retire, you will struggle. You will have to depend on somebody else's active income. And that is likely to be your children.
Hence where the black tax element comes from.
That's where the black tax comes So the thing is, paying yourself is not an option. It's mandatory. It's like tax. And I don't care whether you earn 1,000 or 100 or the principle. It's the principle that matters. Same thing, the way we tithe. It's a principle issue, not not an optional thing. And if you do it, if I didn't start tithing when I had that low salary, I would not tithe today. You get? It's a kingdom principle. If I don't pay myself, even the Bible says pay yourself. You get that? So it's a kingdom principle. Because, thanks, you've reminded me something. What I do, I actually don't call it financial freedom. I call it financial redemption. That's really my purpose in 2 words. Financial redemption. What do I mean by this? If you look at what we've been taught in school, you go to school, you start working in your early 20s, you work until you're 65, you retire, then you enjoy your pension. Okay? What is the life expectancy in Africa?
Is it 55 or even?
For men is 62.
Oh, for men is 62.
For women is 65. So you've retired at 60, let's even call it 60. Are we saying you're supposed to enjoy 2 years? You get? Now, that is not a kingdom principle. God says that I came to give you life.
Life in abundance.
Now, we must overturn this. My work is to make sure you retire as quickly as possible.
And with your new definition of retirement.
Yes. And that does not mean stop working.
Yes.
But you just get to do what you love to do every single day of the year. You get? So, my job is to make sure you retire as quickly as possible so that you get to do your God-given purpose. You get? Many people are not fulfilling their purpose on earth because they are working for a paycheck. They are working for an employer. They're not working for God. You get? I am in Naboo and I'm working in Naboo, but I can tell you, I work for God.
Yep.
That is clear. This is my platform. It's my ministry.
Yes.
And platform, whichever platform, that will continue. So, financial redemption is to get you to your purpose as quickly as possible so you live a fulfilled life.
And let me ask again. People watching this may think investment is for people with money. By that I mean, in their version, hii kitu siwezi watafanya sahi kwa sababu I can't do what it is that I want to do right now because let me start earning 100 Gs. But your minimum for investment is as low as what?
We even launched a partnership with Chums. You can invest as little as 5 bob.